game
28
between
years
Mark
old.
Dickwitz and John Moser.
This young man with a tremendous amount of talent, qualifying fifth, 229.5. Opening on lane 21, Murray.
And that's the only thing that has kept the scores from being really phenomenal, Jay, even though they've been great all week. The corner pins, leaving a lot of 10 pins, and once in a while the half pocket 7-10. But the players have had no problem at all getting the ball in the pocket area. Again, just carry those corners. He'll go cross lane, a lot of ball speed, and very straight.
Last year he won 86,000 plus. This year he's won $63,100. And here is Don Moser from Peoria, Illinois. They call him Smooth.
It's Don Moser.
Has 4 pin remaining down there. 4 years on the tour, 31 years old. The reason they call him Smooth, incidentally, because of his thinning hairline.
That's not very complimentary.
No, it's not. But the guys out here have some fun, you know that. At a high game of 300 this week, as Earl has mentioned, the scoring has been phenomenal, record-setting here this week. Using the new Brunswick Max Serlin pins.
And they really move, Jay. They fly. When you watch the show today, you'll see how quickly the pins move. And they go back and forth across the pin deck, which is a phenolic pin deck, which adds to that pin action. And it's helped create some high scores. But the players are just both great. They're all playing the same part of the lane. Second, third.
Those are strikes.
And that's what we've been seeing a great deal of. This 8-day event, 192-man field, 21 international stars from 15 different countries.
And there's a good look at the strike by Don Moser, right around the 13 board. The difference will be that Mike Edwards here, you'll see he'll play the same part of the lane, but he will hook the ball more to send it out.
He's got the 10 again.
But Edwards off the 10 again.
A unique style here in Mike Edwards. He has a lot of strength in his upper body, and he uses that strength to an advantage. That good shot of him from the side there, you could see that he cups the ball considerably with his wrist and uses that wrist strength to get all that revolution. He gets the power on the back end.
Mike attended the University of Oklahoma, working toward a degree in agriculture. Down early by 1 pin to Moser. Mike has some Cherokee and Choctaw blood in him, a Native American, you might say, from Tulsa, Oklahoma. And the strike on 21.
Strikes in the first.
A quick explanation of the format this week. It's a 56-game event as opposed to our normal 42-game affair, this being one of the major events on the PBA Tour, the World Open. It's a grind. A lot of games, a lot of sore hands, backs, wrists. The players that are here this week, the top 5, are all young players, Jay, as you've noticed, and they've all been able to hold up pretty good. A lot of pressure, going for a lot of money.
Moser with an 11-pin lead after striking in the second and third. $15 a pin for each pin that is knocked down. The charity this year, the Maryville City of Youth in Des Plaines, Illinois, nearby. And another strike for Moser.
NBC Sports coverage of the PBA Fall Tour is brought to you by Brunswick, proud sponsor of Team USA. By Chevy Trucks, more people are winning with the heartbeat of America. By the American Bowling Congress, the bowling industry leader since 1895. And by Budweiser, the king of beers, with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud.
Don Moser up by 11. 4 strikes in a row, 6th frame, 21, and another strike. Actually, early in the 5th, he didn't throw a very good ball, but he got the action.
Well, he got what you might call a big break. He knew he made a mistake when he released the ball. It was well inside of his target line. There's a lot of oil in the middle of the lanes. The ball kind of fell back to the pocket, and he almost let the solid set, but he got away with it.
Kept on
Both
striking.
players throwing lots of strikes. This is what we expected, Jay. We expected high-scoring games, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Edwards going for 4 strikes in a row. It's there.
Yep.
my.
It's so striking.
We're going to take a quick look here at Mike Edwards. How he gets to the foul line. See that cupped wrist? Now watch the strength in the upper body. The bent elbow, straightens it out at the bottom. Real strong follow through, and that's where those revolutions come from. It's nice to be that strong and young.
Finished 2nd earlier this year at the Don Carter Classic down in Louisiana. And they've got it going. Edwards now with 5 in a row. Moser has a lead by 1. We'll be back with more right after this. This is a long, tough battle. Lawrence coming all the way from the 18th position, and look at Moser all the way from 47th after the 3rd round.
And he had a big block, obviously, in the 4th round. The first 4 rounds are qualifying rounds, 8 games each. You can see how the players jockey for position when it comes right down to it. The cream comes to the top at the end, the last 2 rounds. The last 2 rounds of match play, which will be on Friday.
Beyond the foul line coming up with Earl Anthony. We'll be talking about the new oil they're using here. Another strike for Don Moser.
Oh, it's so striking.
And a good example of how 2 players, contrasting styles, can play at a different angle on the lane. Here's a good look at the style of Don Moser. Smooth, as you mentioned. Jay, very smooth style. Good balance at the foul line. He's playing a very tight line to the pocket, right down around the 12-13 board, straight at the pocket, whereas Mike Edwards is throwing the big hook. Both players stringing strikes.
And he got a re-rack on 21, his first of the match, or his second of the match, excuse me. He did ask for a re-rack in the first frame.
And that's all he's allowed is 2 a game.
Oh, 10.
Moser's string got stopped by the thing.
And you could see the disappointment on Don Moser's face when he left that 10 pin. He knows that if he stopped striking, Mike Edwards could continue on. Lane condition is very conducive to scoring, we've said many times. And the chances are that if you leave a 10 pin, you could lose the match at this point.
Moser had 6 in a row before leaving this 10.
Moser spikes.
Edwards is down by 10. And he's trying to get his 6th consecutive strike. We are in the 8th frame. This opening match, $33,000 first prize, largest prize on the fall tour.
Oh!
And the spinner would not get the 4 for him.
And he really rolled that ball well. If anything, maybe too well, Jay. The ball hooked a little more on the back end than it has been. And just cut through the pins a little bit. Unfortunate break for Mike. He had a chance to get even up the match here. Here's a good look at his style from down the lane. It's a great shot. Watching the ball rotate into the pocket area. You see the head pin go around and not come back and trip the floor.
Well, we'll go from the lanes to the hardwood today. Coming up next, we've got UNLV and the USSR. There's Meg Edwards. Mike and Meg. Married less than a year, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Nice young couple. They were married actually last September, so they've been married a little over a year. They were married down in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
This is what the players call the foundation frame, Jay. The 9th frame. You want to get this strike, so you can strike out in the 10th.
And he does.
That's strike from Mike.
This fellow was involved in the earthquake out in California in October of '89. His friend walked out of a department store as he comes up with a strike on 22. He walked out of that department store just about a minute and a half before it crumbled. Very lucky gentleman.
No, that
Very fortunate.
Double a lot.
That's when you think somebody's taking care of you, Jay, I guess. All right, we are going into the 10th frame, our opening match. possibility of some great scores here. Don Moser going at a 2:49 pace, possibly 2:69 if he gets all three in the 10th. The most Mike Edwards can get is 2:58.
Finally, the 10 went down. What a big break there.
It is a break. It's a good break and a bad break at the same time. Moser released the ball where he wanted to see. It's right over his target area between the second and third arrow. The ball doesn't hit very well. You see the 5 pin not quite get to the 7, but the head pin comes all the way across. Again, this new pin by Brunswick moves around, and you'll get that kind of an action. Pindex, the phenolic Pindex also.
These Brunswick Max pins are coated with a Serlin coating that is really very active.
All right, Moser must strike here to make Mike Edwards get 2 strikes in the 10th frame to win the match.
And he's got it. 249 for Moser.
Edwards needs a double.
This is the kind of scoring you and I'd expected. And this sellout crowd is here to watch.
And I'm sure in Mike's mind, that 4-pin, he's going to make a speed adjustment. He'll probably up the speed just a little bit. He has to have the first 2 strikes to win.
Good. Oh!
Leaves the 4 again. He did it also in the 8th frame over there.
And as so often happens, Jay, he did up the speed.
Man, that
it's pretty
costs
obvious to shoot the ball a little harder, but when you do that many times, you also lift the ball more. He actually threw it harder, but he got more back in because he hooked it more.
Mike Edwards will pull down $6,000 for his 5th place finish, and Dave Moser will move on. He'll be going up against the defending champion, Don Moser, excuse me, I didn't say Dave.
That's 58.
Good going for both
This
these
is a good
fellas
match.
in the opening match. Moser 249 to 238